Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to your Sunday night Nintendo Enthusiast Class vs. Crass podcast, Nintendo podcast, number 69 tonight. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Lapine, and joining me, Sean, I don't have a middle name for you, Long.
Hello.
How you doing?
Just finishing up something real quick.
All right, you finish that. I'm going to do more of the intro. So we're back to just the two of us this week. Just the two of us. You and I. So if this is your first time joining us here on... I'm sorry?
I said I quit.
All right. This is your first time joining us on Class vs. Crass. This is the Nintendo... What do we do here? It's a 1-hour podcast that's broken down in basically 3 sections. We first start off with what have you been playing? That's where Sean and I share what we've been playing over the past week with a little bit more of a focus on Nintendo games when there are new Nintendo games to be played. For Sean, it doesn't matter. He always plays the same games from 30 years ago. What else we got? After that, we get into the major Nintendo headlines, which finally Nintendo is alive again. There's tons to talk about once again. The dark days are partially over. And the last part, which is the lightning round. That's where we spend 15 minutes answering your topics, questions, having a discussion directly with you guys in the chat. So do hang around for that at the end. Sometimes we have giveaways too. So, I want to...
Do you have one tonight?
I don't.
All right, good thing you...
Do you?
Good thing you hinted at that. No, I would have told you.
Okay. I don't know. I thought I'd test the waters. It's true, though. Sometimes we do have that. So tonight's big topics, we're going to be talking about some VR. I'm just laying down the groundwork before we get into what have you been playing. Virtual reality, it hit mainstream, so we're going to get into that. And, of course, the Nintendo Switch, we have talked about its reveal to death in the last week. So now let's talk about all of the new rumors, because NX rumors are gone, Switch rumors are in. So Sean, you ready?
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
I've actually been playing a game that is coming to the Wii U, supposedly. It's an indie game, so it probably won't. Called Exile's End. I've been playing the PS4 version for a review, and it stinks, and I don't like it.
Cool story. Is that it?
No, I mean, I've been playing a lot of NES stuff, Splatterhouse, One Paku Graffiti, which I did a Halloween video on. Very, very interesting game. Pretty fun, though. And I actually played a bunch of NES games because I had to capture footage for something else that I'm working on. But as far as the Wii U or 3DS, it was a dry week for me. I didn't really touch anything on there. But that, like I said, that Exile's End game is supposedly coming to the Wii U. So
someone in your house with you?
No, I thought maybe the screen wasn't working, but it is. Yeah, so it'll be, it's definitely not a great game. Yep. What about you? What have you
Thank
been
you.
playing? I didn't know what you were waiting for.
I was waiting for you to stop picking your nose.
I got a
So
boogie.
it's been an eventful week for me. I've completed the Triforce of modern console gaming. If you know what that means.
I do.
Okay, so for those who don't, I got a PlayStation 4 this week, completing all consoles. So I had an Xbox One for the past year. I've had a Wii U for 2-3 years now, and now I finished it with PlayStation 4. And the main reason for that is because I was lucky enough to receive a PlayStation VR demo unit that's on loan. So I was reviewing that, but I didn't have a PS4. Been wanting to get one for a while. This felt like a good reason to get one. So I've been playing a lot of that, but I've also been playing the Wii U, surprisingly. I've had time to play a lot somehow this week. Guacamelee, I've finally beaten it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm trying to 100% it, and it's super, super... I banned that guy because he was just dropping a bunch of typos, or a bunch of spam. So
No, that's fine.
yeah, I finally beat Guacamelee, which is amazing, because I was almost at the final boss when I first played that many years ago. Then my hard drive got wiped out, so I lost all of my indie game save files. Actually, all my save files for everything, I guess. And then I had to restart, so I never really wanted to restart, and I finally did, and now I beat it. That's my story. But let's talk about, since I've been dabbling in PlayStation VR for the past week, I really want to talk about virtual reality because it's technically mainstream now that it's widely available for consoles. Although who's got that kind of cash lying around? I don't know. Like if you're here in Canada, you're looking at $1,000 investment just to get VR if you already have a PlayStation. So it's kind of crazy. Now, Sean, this will be me sharing a lot of opinions, but for those who don't know your opinion, what do you think about virtual reality?
I think it sucks. I have no interest in it. I don't care about it. Like it's a cool novelty. I think it'll be good for the entertainment industry to some extent, but as far as practical gaming, no. I mean, it's stupid. Nobody wants to sit there with a headset on all day and do. It's just motion controls evolve. Like I don't get it.
It is, and I agree more than ever with you.
About time.
Yeah. I've always been on the fence. I think I used to argue you more for sake of argument because I said I had tried the Oculus Rift at a convention as a demo unit, but now I've had 16 launch titles to really dig into and play, and I don't like it. I think virtual reality is an amazing experience that should be experienced, but I cannot play more than 30 minutes of a VR game. And maybe that's the quality of games we have now because this is completely new, so I don't expect developers to really know what they're doing with it. I assume that they only had enough time to put something interesting. Like, out of the 16 games I've played, I have to say the Batman Arkham VR, best game by far, but it's very obvious that it's they had a very short development cycle to it. Game. It's really good to show off what you can do with VR. It's very, very immersive. It's an experience that's amazing. But I think the game itself, if you actually do put in the time, it's about 45 minutes to play through, and then you can play through it again to you unlock something special and you can play through it again. So you're looking at about an hour and a half of game.
How much is it?
I think here in Canada, I think it's $40. So it's 30 in the US. So first of all, value. Like assuming you got a VR kit for free. Man, I really gotta ban this guy, don't I? Yeah, let's block him. So, assuming you got the VR kit for free and you're spending $40 for an hour and a half game, and I'm saying the Batman VR experience is the best out of the 16 games I've played. Like, that value is just really, really hard to justify when you can compare that. Well, you could either pay $40 for a 3DS game, like Dragon Quest VII, and you'll get 30 to 50 hours. Now, I know that's an RPG. This is a VR experience. They're completely different. But the point is, you can find almost any number of games. You can find tons of games with more than an hour and a half of gameplay for that price. Will the games get better with time? Yes.
Will they? Will they?
Will they? Actually, that's a good point. Will they? Because here's what I found. Here's my experience. Out of the 16 games, I've had a lot of different gameplay styles to do. I felt that any game where I had to move with a controller made me motion sickness within 15, 20 minutes. And this wasn't just me. So I brought it to the office, the Enthusiast Gaming office. And it's a shared office, so there's like a lot of different companies there to try to interact with. And I put it in the common area, and I was like, all right, anybody can try it if you want. So I was kind of getting feedback of what people thought. And everybody was blown away. Oh, my God, this is amazing. I got to buy this. And I was like, really? But everyone who tried those games where you control with the joysticks and like you're jumping and moving and your body isn't, they all got motion sickness. So those types of games I don't see working with this kind of setup. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, this is a minor complaint, but the amount of wiring is ridiculous. Like,
oh no, I know it's Alpha had gotten a kit, and he was showing me the wiring, and he was just like, "What is all this? This is stupid." And I was like,
"It is. So look at. I'm actually going to show you guys. Don't mind the mess, but that's the processing unit, and then the PlayStation 4 is here. Look at all these wires are all related to the place is only there for VR. And
Like
then
that's worse than like the Sega CD and
32X comp.
32X wires. Like that's ridiculous, dude.
It's super ridiculous. It's only it's lighter. It's lighter than the CD 32X, but the amount of wires, like I even had my friend over today who's like super annoyed by like tangled wires, and that's him setting it up. When I set it up, it was way worse. Like it was a spider web. So there's that. What else did I like? I'm trying to think of the games. Like I said, the games, all the experiences I had, they were all very diverse. But I got bored after 30 minutes, and it's just such a pain. So before I want to play a game, I have to sit down. I have to wipe down the lens inside the headset, because no matter what you do, like either your eyelash or some part of your eye or your glasses, because you have to wear glasses. If you're wearing glasses, you have to put it inside VR, is going to touch the lens. So if you play with it for a while and you put it down, you put it back on, you're going to have to clean it, or there's going to be like a little bit of smudge. So you got to clean that. Then you got to put like the headset on halfway, and then you have to control everything to get into the menu system, get everything adjusted. Then you can go into proper like VR mode. Then you got like, if you're doing one with the motion controls, you have to strap that on to enjoy like 25 minutes. And then you have to stand in some of these games. Some of them you can sit down, but it's such a pain. And like in contrast, I got Uncharted 4 yesterday. I put that in. I put in 4 hours, no problem. Like just as a comparison of, like, sure, VR is immersive, game. But after 30 minutes, I don't. Personally, I'm bored, and it's just like, all right, let's do something else. So what is the future of VR, in my opinion, is like a lot of people are sold on it. The ones that when I brought it to the office, a lot of people are saying this is the future of gaming. And I'm like, no. Just there's too much wrong with it. It's too expensive. You're too limited in what you can do with it right now. Like you can't just do any kind of games. You can't do a platformer in VR. And some people are like, oh, well, I would want to watch a movie. Like really, instead of sitting on a couch, seeing a screen, being able to interact with like your popcorn or whatever, you would rather shove something on your face and not have any sense of, like, pretend you're inside a theater, because that's what it feels like. I don't think so. I just don't think so. It's not there yet, and it's unfortunate because I feel like it's close, but not there.
Well, I mean, Sony rushed it to some extent. Had to get it out. Big Christmas.
They did rush it.
Gotta do it.
So we got time. So PSVR is worth it if you own a VR already. I don't know if that was a comment to someone, but
a PS4 already. I say no, Tony. I mean, I have a PS4 because you got to remember, you got to get the camera too.
You gotta get the camera. You gotta get the 2 waggle sticks.
You're dropping like $500 before games. Games. So I don't know, man. That's retarded in my mind. Like I have when it's, in a year and a half, when it's $100, I'll pick it up because that's exactly what's gonna happen.
I'm legit worried about. It's funny, this is a Nintendo podcast, but I'm legit worried about Sony because this could blow. Like they took a big risk in pushing VR so strongly, and this could blow up in their face. And I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen. And someone posted a picture of this. This is really interesting, especially now that we know what the Nintendo Switch is. If you look at the 3 console companies, so what do they all have in common? Consoles for your living room, right? Between the Switch, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4. But then each of those companies has like a secondary function that they're trying to go. So you got PlayStation that they're doing console, but now they're trying to go VR. You've got Microsoft, which they got console, but they're bridging the gap between PC and console, making that experience, well, they're trying to make it seamless.
Well, they also had HoloLens, but then
nope, that's gone. That's gone. They're not.
That went the way of the dodo.
They did announce a new VR headset last week, though. So, but in their gaming vertical, that's what they're focusing on. They're trying to integrate a game through mobile, PC, but more PC, Xbox One, PC. Like you buy a game, you can play it on both. That's what they're kind of pushing. And then you look at Nintendo, and they're kind of pushing the console experience, but mobile. So they're focusing on that mobile crowd. Sony's kind of going for the VR crowd as their secondary, and Xbox is, I guess, trying to go for the PC crowd. So it's really interesting that although they all have that common element of console gaming, they have all kind of extended their reach into very different markets.
And I think two of the markets are smart, and one of the markets is not.
Yep, I think Sony is betting on the wrong horse here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the PC, Microsoft is done with home consoles. Like, the Scorpio is their swan song. Like, every Xbox game is available on PC. Point blank. Period. Fact. So that's what they're doing, and that's fine. They got into the hardware races late, and they gave it a valiant effort. They had some success. Now it's time to bow out. It's not worth it to them when there's so many people playing their games on PC. Whereas Nintendo and Sony, that's their bread and butter. Obviously, Sony's most powerful division in terms of sales and revenue is what? Consoles. And Nintendo, of course, that's all they have. So it's very interesting.
I find it super interesting because there's all this talk about Nintendo's future depending on this whole third party support, and I think the whole reason people are so either excited or depressed about all these Switch rumors coming out is because they're trying to gauge how much of that third party support Nintendo's going to win over. But anything can happen, like Nintendo can make mistakes, but the whole landscape, the whole market, anything can happen. Like you say, Xbox can bow out and just say, you know what, we don't care that we're not selling that many consoles because our games and our service is on the rise, right? Through their PC audience. PlayStation, who knows what could happen with them? If VR could blow up and they could, try to focus more VR. VR could blow up the other way, implode, I guess, and Sony could bow out there, leaving Nintendo in a very interesting position. Anything can happen. It's a really interesting time to observe the console wars.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So anything else? That was my spiel on VR.
VR can go to hell.
Okay. So let's go to the Nintendo Switch rumors, and need your help, audience. If there's any, throw up your rumors in the comment section because
no, I think the best
we
one
didn't do
is
we didn't do. I don't have a comprehensive list of all the rumors from last week. That's why.
So here, I got some stuff. So this is something that just broke pretty, I don't know, somewhat recent, like today. That a famous Japanese writer says that the Nintendo Switch will likely be using the Pascal architecture and not the Volta architecture with NVIDIA. What that means is that if they go this route, the Switch could keep evolving with the advance of Tegra itself, similar to a PS4 and a PS4 Pro. So once again, I don't know what the hell all that means, but I guess the gist of it is that there is the potential for upgrading without a new console.
Potential for upgrading without a new console,
right. So you would have like a PS4 to PS4 Pro, and whatnot. Now there was some analysis of where the hell did I read that? I actually read this on the comments section of a post, because this guy just sounded like really smart. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It has to do with the 4 gigabytes of RAM that everyone's taking a dump on because it's not enough, man, blah, blah, blah. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I'll talk about 4 gigs while you're looking that up.
Okay.
So if you watch this podcast, I hope it isn't for hardware expertise because usually Sean and I don't go into that deep of details. We don't obsess over hardware as much as others do. But yeah, one of the rumors is that the Switch will come with 4 gigs of RAM. I think the PS4 and the Xbox One have 8, or am I wrong with that?
Yes, but you have to factor in the OS of both of those systems. It's very resource heavy. That's why I'm trying to find this.
I mean, it depends how you what you compare it to. So Nicholas is asking, is 4 a lot or not? Like in PC world, it's not.
Okay, here we go. This isn't what I originally read, but this is good nonetheless. The source is some geek off of Reddit. But basically, the only reason a console needs so much these days is because disks aren't fast enough to pull up the needed assets. The super fast access speeds of cartridges, the needs for assets to be preloaded onto RAM, therefore decreasing the amount of RAM needed overall. The game essentially is preloaded onto its own RAM cartridge. Why else do you think the PS3 had to make up the 7.8 gigabyte jump in RAM to the PS4? Disk's read speeds aren't good enough. Also, NVIDIA compression techniques far exceed AMD's. People making direct comparisons with the opposition seriously seem to have no idea how hardware works. Let's take Overwatch at 1080p maximum settings. Very nice looking game. Barely uses over 1 gig of RAM of VRAM on my system. So share that with the other 2 gigabytes. It barely uses a system of RAM.
So
So if a game could run Overwatch, you get what I'm saying. Like
like
the reason, from
if
what I've been gathering, the reason that these systems need so much RAM nowadays is because of disk limitations,
mhm,
problems with disks, problems with disk read speeds and
right,
whatnot.
right.
So yeah, I'm still
So I
trying to
mean,
find that
my
other
only
thing.
I never obsessed over console hardware. I'm more familiar with PC hardware in a way because I don't buy a console to check out its specs and stuff. You do that with a PC. I build my PCs. I need to know specs for that. So if I don't know if it works the same console PC for this, but when you look at any game that runs on PC, like they usually run at most just a few gigs of RAM. Again, I don't know if that's accurate or not as a comparison. All I know is I need a lot when you do like heavy video editing or video rendering. Like my PC has 16 gigs, but that's not something you need necessarily for gaming.
Yeah, I mean you can't really compare
No, you can't.
um,
Like you can't compare
something like that.
rendering.
Okay,
No,
go
because
on.
like that's rendering stuff from scratch. But if you compare it to the Wii U, it's twice the Wii U. The Wii U has 2 gigs. The Switch has 4, and it's portable, so it's pretty
Okay.
good.
I think I have found what I wanted to find. So if you can, I found the thread. Really, blah blah blah. Damn it! Where is it? It was in here somewhere.
All right. So
Unless the
while
guy
Sean's
deleted this
looking, what
comment.
are our other? So another rumor that came out was, of course, the size of the memory, the expandable memory, hard drives, portable hard drives not being supported, 16 gig card rumor, lots of rumor. There's a good question by Shelfie that I actually do want to discuss, which is, how do we feel that overall people are? Do you guys think people generally positive or negative on all these hardware rumors? I'm gonna say negative. Everybody's mainly being very
Extra
pessimistic.
skeptical.
Yeah, because it doesn't, like, number to number, it doesn't live up. It doesn't compare to what's out there right now when you look at the PS4 and the Xbox One. Like the 16 gig card rumor, I'm a little concerned about that myself because a Wii U disc is, I think, 32 gigs or 25 gigs. Like a Wii U disc, that's how much memory you can fit on a Wii U. Now, people are arguing that, well, the biggest Wii U games were, I think, between 10 and 20 gigs, but like, I don't want to have just a snug Wii U game on a Switch cart. You want that extra room to demand a little bit more from the games, to pack a little bit more into the games. So the 128 gig, that comes from the expandable memory. So that would be like, what do you do? Like on your 3DS, the expandable memory. So you would put your save files and all that stuff on, or digital downloads. So 128 gigs is what's said to be supported, which, I mean, it's better than 32, which is what the Wii U had, but it's no terabyte, that's for sure. It's concerning. It's not a lot of space. Like, you put 1 or 2 AAA games on your expandable memory if you're lucky, and that's it. It's just, I see a memory problem here. It's a big concern. You still looking?
Yeah, I don't. It was something like someone basically made it, broke it all down. I'll just summarize it. I can't find exactly what it was. Basically, if take into account the chips that this system is using and the 4 gigabytes of RAM, something like the Xbox One has only 5 gigs of RAM accessible to it, because 3 of the gigs are used for the operating system. So taking the Xbox One into account, you have 5 versus 4, but you also have to factor in the fact that different chipset and different architecture in terms of a disc versus a cartridge. So, with that in mind, both Sony and Microsoft have gone on record saying, well, I think Microsoft's lying, that all of their games will work for both of their models. So the Xbox One, the Xbox Scorpio, the PS4, and the PS4 Pro. So in turn, what that basically means is that the Switch should be fine when it comes to third-party ports, because of the fact that at the end of the day, it pretty much, if all these rumors are true, if we take into account cartridges versus discs, if we take into account a low operating system of power, then third-party ports should be fine, because everything that runs on the Xbox One has to run on the Scorpio. Everything that runs on the PS4 has to run on the PS4 Pro. So mathematically speaking, it won't be the same, but in terms of actual, porting and ease of ports, and, it'll be close enough to where the difference is probably negligible.
Right. And again, all of this is all rumors and speculation, which is one reason I don't like getting worked up over all this. Like, from what I'm hearing, the memory is a concern to me, but there's no point in worrying about it or yelling at other people with different opinions about it, because we don't know anything. We have a date, which is wonderful, that Nintendo actually came out and said January 12th, we will learn everything about this thing. And then we can debate all we want with actual specs, because we're going to see all the surprises. There will be no secrets, where, if there's anything that's unconventional about this that we can't even consider or think about right now, we're going to know then.
The thing of it is, I think one thing that a lot of people aren't taking into account is something as simple as a Android phone versus an iPhone, a PC versus a Mac. Okay, I have a laptop and a MacBook, along with my desktop. So my laptop, which is Windows based, is 6 gigs of RAM. My MacBook is 4 gigs of RAM. Guess which one runs more programs? Guess which one runs faster? Guess which one runs better games?
Yeah, probably your Mac, because everything's optimized in there and highly controlled over what does what. Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, in theory, on paper, my Windows-based laptop is stronger than the Mac.
Right.
But in use, it's not.
But your laptop, if you knew and wanted to put energy into it, you could probably optimize it to run like your Mac, but it would probably be a lot of work and not worth it for you.
But what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Mathematically speaking, that PC, that laptop, should be doing everything that my MacBook does better and faster, because it has better specs.
Yeah, if you look at
and that's what people are doing. That's what we're doing here. We're looking at the Xbox One, we're looking at the PS4, and we're looking at the presumed, and what the hell's the thing called? Switch. I almost called it the NX. We're looking at, those. We're looking at those as apples to apples, and it's not. It's not true. It's not. It's not a fair assessment.
Now, with if we're gonna go with your Mac analogy, a Mac. The great thing about a Mac is, for anyone who doesn't want to bother with anything PC related, they just want to take it out of the box and it works. That's why you get a Mac. I have a MacBook and I have a PC, and I can say, the MacBook gives me a lot less troubles, just because But I prefer my PC because I can tinker with it and do whatever I want. Whereas the MacBook Pro is like, nope, you can't do that because we don't allow our users, little things. And my concern is if Nintendo is more like a Mac in that sense that everything is optimized to work a certain way, well, then how friendly is that towards third developers who I assume are more used to the kind of PC model where they can tweak things and do whatever they want with it? Now, we've heard from developers, third-party developers, they have said developing for the Switch is great. So that alleviates that concern.
I mean, but you have to remember, it's all based on NVIDIA stuff. So I don't think that's a concern because it's all based on the same. It's not a separate architecture like Nintendo has done with some of the last few systems, where it made it difficult. It made it, it was unique to make games for. So I mean, that was the biggest complaint about the Wii U, was that the architecture was different than what the PS3, Xbox 360, and then of course the Xbox One and PS4 things were going. So I mean, you can't optimize a home console. Think about it. Your optimized Xbox One and PS4 are new models that you have to go out and buy. Like, it's crazy.
Right. Shelfie, nobody should be pooing in nobody's cornflakes, really. Because it's all rumors. Who cares? At the end of the day, if it plays fun games, that's what's honestly going to sell.
Yeah, exactly. One White Kong. NVIDIA is making the kits. They're making it easy to port. And that's the whole key. That's what makes it easy to port, is that NVIDIA is on board with this. And that's why they got rid of the Shield 2, because the Shield 2 ended up becoming essentially the Switch.
Still have the Will Smith song in my head. Anyway. Hardware is not my thing, as in I don't care about it.
It's not really mine, like specs and crap like that. It's not really. I'm not an expert in that or like anything. I'm learning as I go along.
But I don't even want to learn. That's the thing. Like this whole hardware stuff, I spent way too many years in it in my other career, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And that's all the Nintendo community seems to be up in. Like, I miss the days where we can actually talk about game design.
Well, you couldn't really talk about games with the Wii U.
Yeah, I know.
So you kind of had to look towards the future, and now you don't know anything about the future.
Yeah.
Except that there's a multi-platform in Sonic 2017. So to some degree, it's got to be easy to make.
Yeah. Let's talk about more fun stuff. January 12th. This is so interesting. I can hear you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Let's talk about some marketing stuff. I'm more entertained with marketing strategies and Nintendo. What I find, I think I told you about this. It was really interesting that Nintendo. Have you noticed for the NX reveal, that tweet came out at what, Switch. 8? It was NX at that time. It was 8:30 p.m. our time, Eastern time on the East Coast. So even end of day on the West Coast, the tweet went out saying, hey, the Switch is being revealed tomorrow, right? And then again, the Nintendo Direct or whatever it's going to be, the live event for January 12th was announced at like 10 p.m., which to me, if you ask me or anyone, that's kind of crazy. Like everyone always says you make your announcement in the day so that you get some news throughout the day. I can't think of another company that does these major announcements in the evening like this late, and I have no idea if Nintendo is just testing something or maybe they're just not paying attention. But like, did you notice that? And do you think like, what are they up to?
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah. I think they're just drunk or something. And
we forgot to schedule the tweet 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Man, maybe if that's all it is, that'd be interesting. But we'll see if they keep announcing things in the evening. I don't know what they're doing, but it's weird. But January 12th, what are your predictions for what do you think they're going to show January 12th?
They're going to show the Nintendo Switch. They're going to talk about a price point, and they're going to give a release date, and they're going to show some games.
You think we're going to get any surprises in terms of what the hardware can do? Because they said they didn't. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there will be. I mean, they, to be fair, they really didn't show much to begin with. They were like, "Hey, you can play it on the TV and you can take it with you too."
And you know what?
But see you in a couple months.
That is marketing genius, what they did there. I thought about it. So they put it out there for us to almost as a feeler, and they gave us no information about it other than what it looks like and what you can do with it in a nutshell. We don't even know if that's all you can do with it. And now they get to sit back, observe the market, observe the analysts, observe the fanboys, observe everyone for 3 months and gauge what market expectations are. So right now everybody's talking about if this is good, if this is bad, what they want to see, what they don't want to see, what they would pay for it. And Nintendo's just sitting back, and that's free data for them. Like, oh, okay. So everybody's saying if we price this at 300, it's going to sell well. And then they can look at all their thing. Can we sell this for 300? No. How do we make it happen? What's the downside if we can't? Like, they're getting all of this feedback, all thanks to the strategy of not releasing anything. And like, they can't change anything big at this point. They're not going to change hardware necessarily, but they can do they have a 3-month runway to try to align their product and their marketing with market expectations, because they're getting a gauge on that right now.
Right.
And that's like amazing. That's genius.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's free data research.
Yep. So another thing I think that they're going to show on January 12th. So you mentioned games, Switch, price point. I think we're also going to see the details of the demo stations. Like, they're going to tour this around for sure. I think, yeah, it was even confirmed for Europe and Asia, I think. And we're going to see, I think, their online infrastructure. They're going to talk about how all of their online and mobile stuff comes together.
Yes.
And I'm most excited for the games, the price point, online infrastructure. Those are the 3 things I want to see.
I just care about price. I don't care about anything else.
You don't care about online features at all?
Because none of that matters.
Oh,
the price is wrong.
Speaking of online features, I got a wake-up call to modern gaming the other night. So my buddy comes over and I'm like, hey, let's play some Star Wars Battlefront. I just got the game. Never played it before. Of course, load up. I've heard the rumors of it being pretty limited. I knew that there was no single player and all that. But I was hoping that me and my buddy could like go play online against other people. Nope, can't do that. You can do split screen, local. And if you want to go online, you have to pay like just to play online. And this was my first time, even though I have an Xbox One, I never really wanted to play any of those games online. This is the first time I encountered like that paywall to play the game online, and it was so insulting. Like
I think the Switch will have a paywall
for playing online. Like, if you want to play Splatoon online, you have to pay $15 a month.
It's not for. That's so stupid, Jason. Like,
is that not what you're saying? Like,
not
that
for one game.
No, I mean for all the games. Yeah,
it's for all the online services, all of the online features.
If they bar online multiplayer, that's gonna kill them. I don't.
Every other console does it.
I know, but Nintendo needs everything they can on their side.
But if they have free online multiplayer, would you rather have free crappy online multiplayer or pay for online multiplayer where you can actually do stuff like meet up with your friends, chat with your friends, basic online features that have been around since 2005?
I want the option for both, and I don't see why that's. Give me the free crappy one, and if I want the premium model, I'll pay my $15.
What? Oh, what? But then what do you decide what comes and what goes? And then you're just putting stress on the developer because they have to figure out, what to do and what not to do.
I don't know. At least undercut Xbox and PlayStation. Put it at $10.
Fine.
Put it at $10, $5, whatever.
A year?
A month.
But
give me an annual plan too. At half the
they
price.
have annual plans, Jason. It's like $60. It just went up for the Xbox.
Oh.
It's $60. I mean, for the PS4, it used to be $50. Now it's $60. The Xbox One is $50 for a year.
Okay, multiply that by 3. That's the Canadian rate.
Well, that's because you live in a crappy country.
It's a good country. Just
sucks.
Gaming got expensive.
No, and I mean, I don't know. if you said you could have the same crappy infrastructure of the Wii U online, or you could have a good one, but you have to pay, I will pay
Really?
because yes,
I don't know.
it's
Maybe I would
basic
maybe I
features.
would convert, but for starters, I don't need that.
Well, then you don't play online.
Fine, I'll just keep playing with single player stuff.
Play with yourself.
I will.
Now it's time for the lightning round.
Let's do it.
Throw up your questions. There's a women's match on wrestling right now.
Is that what you're
Not a
watching?
big fan of. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling.
Oh yeah. Why
Eh,
not? Are they not good enough for wrestling?
it's not that they're not good enough, but it's kind of like women's basketball versus men's basketball to me. I'd rather watch men play because they're a little better at it. There are some good women wrestlers, though.
And you always like watching men play anyway.
Not very PG there.
It's more PG than playing with yourself. You taking questions or what?
There are no questions, dingus.
Make
I
some
will
up.
take the questions. I will take the questions when the questions pop up in the chat.
Then you should have typed it out.
Canada isn't a real country, anyways. I agree.
There's a song about it. Like even on PC, you don't pay to play online. Like this concept of paying more, and I got Star Wars Battlefront for free. Like I can't even imagine. Well, it wasn't for free; it came in a bundle. But I can't even imagine those who paid. Like here in Canada, I think it was like after tax everything, it's $80, and then you have to pay again to play. No, $80 for the disc, the game.
Oh, okay.
And then that's useless because then you have to download 20 gigs to even play the game. Ugh.
All right, we got some questions. Shut up. Would you pay $3.99 if the tablet has a really good battery life? No.
No, that's way too
Oh.
high. Too high.
When will Amiibo die? Hopefully soon. Am I not into sequin outfits of women's wrestling?
What's this? Never mind.
Do you think Square Enix will be at the Switch presentation?
Absolutely.
That's okay. You can't say absolutely because A, we don't know what the presentation is, how it's going to be set up, all that stuff. I mean,
I can say I have confidence in my opinion that they will be there by saying absolutely.
well, okay, so they themselves will be there or their games will be there? Square Enix is going to be there.
They will
Hi, I'm Square Enix.
They will be represented
showing
by
you
their
some
games. Yeah.
Okay, well that's completely different. Anyone mod their systems? I have mod my PSP.
I modded a 3DS.
What?
No, a DS once.
What is your take? Yeah, so did I. What is your take on Nvidia and what they could bring to the table? We've already talked about that. Honestly, we don't really know much. Basically, don't be worried about numbers yet, because if theories are right, it'll be pretty much in the ballpark of where it needs to be.
Do you think Nintendo can go VR if needed with just a head accessory? Yes, they can. No, they shouldn't.
Is Nintendo starving us of classic franchises for their entertainment? Maybe.
Yeah. Can see them back in their office.
Do you think the Switch will have mobile network capabilities for full mobile online gaming? No. Very expensive.
Yep. Those radios.
It wouldn't be worth it. Look at the Vita.
Yep.
Why are people so upset about the portable screen being 720p? Because people are idiots.
Because that number is smaller than 1080 and people get insecure about that.
But I thought 4K was the standard now. See? Looks stupid.
It's going to look crisp, sharp, and beautiful in 720 on that screen, so.
Yeah, it's all relative to size. Look at your Wii U gamepad. I think it was 480p. It still looked good. Did you hear that Level 5 is not releasing a game at launch? I kind of did, but I did not. That didn't surprise me. All these third party backing the NS. That's right, everyone's calling it the Nintendo Switch NS.
Sounds weaker than the NX.
How many do you think will have launch games? A lot of them. There's going to be a lot of crappy ports for you to enjoy. Just like there was on the Wii U.
You're probably going to get a half a dozen good, solid third party. At least. At launch.
Do you think the Treehouse... Oh, God, I missed it. Do you think the Treehouse will be going live the day after the Switch presentation? No, I don't.
Really, you don't?
No.
Okay.
This isn't a direct. This is a presentation. This is more of a serious suit and tie affair, I feel.
Hmm. Maybe. I'm not sure about that.
Um,
You,
Jason, are you going to stream in Hey Jay after the podcast is over?
not tonight. I have a few things I have to do.
I never paid to play online because I never play online games. Maybe only Mario Kart 8, and it's free online, but that's it. I don't care for online gaming. That's fair.
Do you think Nintendo will rock E3 2017?
No.
No hype videos from you this year?
I don't know. I've learned a lesson.
You got burned hard 2015.
Shut up. Um,
Just dance.
the resolution of the Wii U gamepad is 480p. The NS at 720p is 1.6 times more pixels per inch than the PS Vita.
Couple of them pixels per inch.
Do you view NVIDIA and Nintendo as a partnership rather than just buying hardware, GeForce experience, and support? Yes, this is a partnership. I don't think. I don't think it would have been made such a big deal that NVIDIA was on board in press releases if it was just, oh, we're just buying their hardware. I think NVIDIA is going to have their hand in this to some extent.
How would Pat the NES punk know that anything about development plans? So the question
Please
is,
don't,
NES
please don't get me started on him.
NES punk has teased that Mario game is a Mario 64 sequel. I don't think it's teased. I think it's hypothesized. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. But it looks very Mario 64 Galaxy-esque.
Pat is an interesting person. Do you think the NES Classic being 60 for 30 games, Nintendo may sell their NES games for cheaper or in packs on the Switch eShop? The Switch eShop is going to be very interesting, I think, because we know nothing about how it's going to work. Are you going to be able to transfer stuff from the 3DS and the Wii U to the Switch? That'll be a very interesting thing to see. Yeah.
Missed some good questions. What's the maximum price you'd pay for the Switch? Absolute maximum, $350, but I don't feel comfortable paying that.
Yeah, it needs to be. I think 250 needs to be the sweet spot.
For sure.
Why do people think the Switch is a hybrid? The Switch is basically a handheld with the option for TV output. Okay, I'll bite. What makes you say that? Like, why do you feel that it's a handheld and not a home console? Because of specs or what?
Will Miyamoto be there with a megaphone? No.
What do you guys think about the fact that the games shown on the trailer weren't actually running on the Switch? That happens with everything.
May I? Okay, so I really don't think. I think that's very standard. First of all, I owned a production house, video production house. That's what they do. And these actors that they brought in, they probably filmed the Switch commercial. This is all theory. They probably filmed that Switch commercial in late August to get it ready for October. Late August at best. You really think that they would have said Nintendo NX casting audition on any kind of casting call? No, they wouldn't have. They would have said commercial for some product. I doubt the actors knew this was Nintendo, and I could be wrong because I know the actor has actually talked a lot about his experience. But usually in those positions, they would basically give a 3D printed model of whatever it is. So I think that's why we saw the it's not because they're hiding anything. It's just a standard practice in commercials.
I guess that guy left.
What guy?
The guy who asked the question and then I asked him
Sonic
the question
Sega?
back.
No, it wasn't Sonic Sega. Sorry. Forget.
Is wearing a hat indoors comfortable? Yes, it is.
It's like underwear for your head.
My house is usually cold, so that's part of the reason.
What was this? I think Nintendo was so honest in their trailer they showed the frame rate dip in Breath of the Wild. I've heard of this frame rate dip, but I didn't see it. Have you?
Not really. Game Explained got that covered in Rio. Awesome.
Yeah, they did get an interview with the actor. Yeah.
The Switch guts are in the handheld. The dock's only likely purpose is you charge it for TV output. But when you're making handheld stuff, why'd you ban
Oh, come
her?
on. You keep your audience under control,
She
sir.
seemed like a nice young lady, and you banned her.
You
Um,
invited her here, didn't you?
no, I wish I did. I mean, it's a portable system to me has two key characteristics. It's it's made with the intent to play it at home, and or on the go, and it's made with the intent of quicker experiences than traditional ones. And from what we've seen with the Switch so far, it's neither one. So
All right. If you had one game you would like to see in the presentation, what would it be? I would love to see like detailed what is this Mario game, and if it's a surprise, I would like to see a Metroid surprise. Not Federation Force level surprise like Breath of the Wild Zelda surprise.
like a good surprise.
Yeah.
Is
Not
that what you mean? A good surprise?
yeah, not like, oh, there's raisins in my cookies. That's a bad surprise.
Oh man, I hate that.
Yeah.
Just put a chocolate chip in there, man.
Or you think it's like chocolate chip cookies, but it's oatmeal and raisin cookie. Yeah, that's the deceit, the biggest deceit in desserts. Just thinking about it upsets me. Final Fantasy 15 on Switch, please. I would rather see Kingdom Hearts on Switch, and that's actually interesting because we have a whole Kingdom Hearts collection remake coming out in March. Um, and Square Enix has supported Kingdom Hearts on Nintendo handhelds. Switch could be argued to be a handheld, so who knows? I think there's some potential for a Kingdom Hearts launch game. Right?
Yep. I'm sorry.
You are somewhere else.
I'm watching wrestling.
All right. What are your thoughts on when did it just start your wrestling or?
It started at 8, but I just tuned
Okay.
in now.
Okay. 5 more minutes. What are your thoughts on the dock constantly charging the battery when plugged in? Could it quickly wear the battery down like sometimes when keeping? I'm not. Is that like still a myth that if you like charge your battery too much?
I don't think that still
Because I know
happens.
there was a battery type that used to do that. Like if you didn't charge it fully, you would mess with it. But I think I thought they overcame that myth. I think it's a myth now, or at least with modern batteries, it doesn't do that. I don't think so. I don't have a concern. Will we
Square
see?
Enix. Oh, go on.
Will we see Xenoblade 3? Maybe.
I mean,
How well did the second one sell?
probably.
Maybe a remake, like a port of Xenoblade Chronicles, because so much effort went into that game, and I don't think it sold that well, like for the amount of effort that went into it.
Right.
So why not take all that effort and just port it over?
Do you think Retro Studios is developing a brand new IP for Nintendo?
Who?
Retro.
Oh yeah, they've been quiet for since Tropical Freeze, haven't they?
They better have a damn launch title. If they don't have a launch title, like that's
Disappointing, because Tropical Freeze was 2013 that it came out. So that studio's been working on something for nearly 4 years. By the time the Switch comes out, it'll be 4 years. That's a lot of time to make a pretty impressive game. So
yeah, for sure.
we'll see. VG charts doesn't work. Great. Okay. I see the question you got. Next question. So we're going to be wrapping this up at 3 minutes. So if you have topics or questions or thoughts you want to share.
Me?
Not you. The
Oh.
audience. Type 1 if you finish Xenoblade Chronicles. I gave up on Xenoblade after level 30. The mechs kind of bugged on me. Lots of opinions. What are you working on this week?
Man, I don't even know, man.
You don't know?
Just
Weren't you
know
editing
me.
something just before the podcast?
Oh yeah, I got a video coming out tomorrow. A new series actually, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, series. I burnt
Kind
myself
of,
out on that.
kind of something a little different, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. This is gonna be our outro. So if there's anything you want to,
Thank you for tuning in. Sorry we were both kind of, off tonight. This was kind of put together at the last second.
what I wasn't off.
Okay, it was.
It's because it's a topic we're not as comfortable with. I'll be honest. I don't like talking about hardware. There's probably 5, 10 people better at hardware than me in the chat.
But yeah, thanks for coming by. Had a good crowd tonight, over 77 at one point, so not too shabby, not too shabby. Yeah, that's about it.
All
Check
right.
out RGT85.
I'll do a better outro. All right, so what I'm working on this week, I'm putting together a PlayStation VR video review where I'll be reviewing. I think I only got 15 out of the 16 games to actually download. So if you actually head over to our sister site, PlayStationenthusiast.com, you're going to see the video there as soon as I put it together. And what else we got coming down for Nintendo enthusiasts? I don't think I have any big video projects coming down right now.
Yeah. Well, I just released that
Oh yeah,
that NES video. What I'd like to see on the NES Mini 2. Didn't do that great. But yeah, that's a thing. And so yeah, make sure you check that out if you haven't. I'll put a link. Right.
I'm telling you, you should have talked more in it instead of just listing the titles every 5 seconds.
Yes, because that would have made more people watch it.
Yeah, it would have.
Oh.
Because then I could have recommended it by saying, "Watch this, it's good."
I should make a video see if the NES Classic hides any NX secrets.
That did pretty good.
It got 708 views. That's not terrible. That's not great though.
All right, so thanks everybody for joining us on tonight's podcast. We will be here same time, same hour, same channel next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys have a good week in Nintendo gaming and all sorts of gaming. Until next week, keep it classy, as Sean would say.
Keep it crassy.
Sing us away.
Tornado Rex, get ready for the ride. Tornado Rex, you've got nowhere to hide when the devil calls us out. I forgot the